Hello everyone, and welcome back to another mostly shenanigans ship test and analysis. Today, we'll be taking a closer look at the newly released Gatac Syulen. Thanks to the 2947 Human Xi'an Trade Initiative, Gatac now offers human-adapted Xi'an spacecraft, so we too get to zoom around in shiny purple alien space bling. Let's head to Microtech and get the first test underway. This test covers how quickly the chunky tripod can reach quantum drive altitude of 11,000 meters from the surface of Microtech, allowing one full use of the afterburner. In our testing, the Syulen managed this in 43 seconds, placing 3 seconds faster than the Nomad and a little slower than the Titan. The flat surfaces on the chunky, wingy arm bits appear to have a large amount of wind resistance. Thankfully, though, it's no struggle bus. Our second test today is our embarkation test, which covers how long it takes to bring a box on board by hand from 30 meters away and be flight ready in the pilot's seat. This test represents the impact of door, stair, seat and elevator animations on daily life. Our tests resulted in an average of 39 seconds, putting the Syulen second last, right above the Mustang. This will have a considerable impact on the P.F.A.F analysis coming up shortly in the video, and should be considered by pilots interested in delivery careers. The third test, planetary landing and disembarkation. This test covers quantum traveling from a set location at Port Tressler, landing at a set mining facility on Microtech, disembarking and reaching a specific door. And while we attempt to remove as many variables as possible and provide the most accurate results as we can, there may be a wider margin of error in this case due to the Syulen's unique design and the variety of landing techniques. At 175 seconds, the Syulen is slightly more efficient in atmosphere than the Andromeda and quite a bit slower than the Cutlass Black and Avenger Titan. Adding these three results together gives us the piss-fart around factor. This represents the efficiency of the ship when used in atmospheric conditions for things such as deliveries, rescue missions, or daily driving. Placing just above the Aurora, the chunk pod proves to be a suboptimal choice under such use cases. With the P.F.A.F statistic, we can simulate how much SCU of cargo is moved between two locations in 2 hours. The Syulen sits in 6th place here. The Avenger Titan and Nomad are better options under these circumstances. The unboosted cruising speed at approximately 2,000 meters altitude on Microtech also shows us that the Syulen won't be winning many planet-based races anytime soon. Perhaps the ship will show us some other qualities when it comes to space flight. Now, surprisingly, Cadet Kevin has agreed to come back and help us with some of our tests under the condition no bombs or drugs are involved this time. So here's Kevin, helping us answer an important question. Can the Syulen drill through this frozen lake on Microtech? No, it can't. Now let's head off planet and see how the ship does in 0G. Turn rates are probably the most important factor when it comes to dogfighting, and probably even catfighting if you're into that sort of thing. The Syulen completes a full pitch rotation in 8 seconds, tying 6th place with the F-7C. A full rotation in yaw takes 8.5 seconds, again sitting just below the Avenger Titan and above the Nomad. Doing a barrel roll takes just 2 seconds, but where's the use in spinning that fast if you can't use it as a drill? Combining the turn rates gives us a rough idea of how the ship performs in a dogfight against fast targets. So far, the Syulen hasn't performed very far above average. We wondered if perhaps it would make an above-average projectile, and thanks to the new Argo SRV, we get to find out. Well, Marco Inaros would be proud. This also makes a good case for why you should never leave your ship open, because that was not our ship. Moving on to the Syulen's thruster performance, starting with forward thrust. At 9.7 G, our blunt purple drill bit picks up pace reasonably quickly in a straight line. Strafing up comes in at 5.4 G, putting the Syulen behind most of the competitors when it comes to avoiding incoming fire with common dogfighting maneuvers. This is also the case with strafing down coming in at 2.8 G. The Syulen manages to top the chart for lateral strafing, which isn't really beneficial when upward and downward thrusters are about as strong as American beer. Combining the strafing axes together, this represents the jerk profile of the ship, its effectiveness at dodging incoming fire. The Syulen sits near the bottom of this list, meaning it will often have to rely on mitigating incoming damage rather than avoiding it. When it comes to reverse thrust, it's borderline attempted murder. No one deserves a dislocated spleen just for tapping the space brake. As a side note, the Syulen accelerates faster in reverse than the struggle bus can in any direction. And if you laughed because I said jerk profile, then you need to grow up. We're trying to make a serious show here. Now back to Microtech, where Cadet Kevin is set up ready for our next test. Kevin agreed that finding out how well the Syulen handles a storm on Microtech should be pretty straightforward. Unfortunately for Kevin, this particular storm is packing 80 surface-to-air heat-seeking missiles. I hope Kevin brought his brown pants today, because in a few moments' time, he's about to discover it's not a snowstorm he's waiting for. He's off the ground, off to a good start. The Syulen might actually be fast enough to escape a target lock from the Storm AA. Nope, I was wrong. Those missiles were clearly faster than Kevin figuring out where the countermeasure button is. Looking at firepower, the Syulen comes equipped with 3 fixed size 3 hardpoints. With Panther laser repeaters, the sustained damage output per second comes in at 540, again, relatively average. With 12 size 2 missiles, the Syulen sits just below the Cutlass Black when it comes to total payload, which is reasonably respectable. When comparing shields, we count only one face of shields that have multiple sections to represent total hit points facing a single direction. At 3,300 hit points, the Syulen sits in 5th place. Adding the nose and body hit points together gives a rough idea of survivability. However, as armor and physicalized damage progresses, these particular numbers will eventually become meaningless. That said though, the Syulen sits 3rd last. I will also note that the Syulen doesn't appear to have any physical damage resistance and would be vulnerable to ballistic weapons. As a reward for being such a good sport, we decided to let Kevin take the Syulen to try it out for himself. He might like it more than we did. As for our conclusion, the Gatac Syulen is not a great starter ship. In most of our tests, it performed average or below average. Apart from having a very unique design, attractive textures, and the world's best toilet animation, there doesn't seem to be a particular role it's very good at. Maybe it can redeem itself by surviving a hammerhead attack. Or maybe it can't. On that note, today's analysis comes to an end. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the Syulen in the comments. And if you'd like to pay your respects to Cadet Kevin, hitting that like button under the video might just cheer him up a bit. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.